from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on WNJC Radio 1360 a.m. or around the world on the internet at WNJCradio.com. Check out our websites, ConservativeCommandosRadioNetwork.com and CCRN.com for rebroadcasts and network updates. We are the Conservative Commandos Radio Network, where even more newsmakers go to be heard.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stocking. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
From the East Coast to the West Coast and around the world on the internet, we're coming to you live from the CCRS studios, WNJC 1360. This is the Conservative Commandos radio show with your host, Rick Trader. The Conservative Commandos radio show, where the newsmakers go to be heard. You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando radio show.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back to Conservative Commandos radio show with Rick Trader and Anna Little. If you would like to hear a rebroadcast of today's show, please check out our websites, CCRS Network and CCRShow.com. Or mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, log on to LeadingEdgeRadioNetwork.com. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, WarRadio.net, and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, ThePunditPress.com. And now you can listen to Conservative Commandos from any telephone by calling 832-999-1199. Our first guest is with us, and the honor of the introduction is mine. Robert B. Bluey is the Vice President and Publishing and Editor-in-Chief of the Daily Signal. He's a journalist and a blogger who leads the Heritage Foundation's Digital Media Department and Investigative Reporting Unit. It's his job to develop stories and use technology to communicate the power of policy ideas, most prominently through Heritage's online outlets and a weekly meeting he co-founded called the Bloggers Briefing. As director of Heritage's Center for Media and Public Policy, Louis also focuses on promoting investigative journalism and government transparency. Rob, welcome back to Conservative Commandos radio show.
It's great to be with you today.
Well, I'm so glad you're going to talk about this topic because our heads are spinning. Boehner's on his way out the door, and he's making this budget deal with Obama, and it seems to be making its way through the legislature, and we taxpayers are kind of dizzy from the experience. The Boehner-Obama budget deal apparently is using the same accounting gimmick as the Obamacare bill did. Tell us about this.
Well, it is quite a deal, constructed in the back rooms of Washington and presented at the last possible moment, without really even giving lawmakers a chance to debate, read, think about what position they're going to take on the bill. I mean, essentially, when Washington grapples with an issue like this, typically this is how they proceed. They want to move it through so quickly that not only are the lawmakers struggling to figure out what's in the bill, there's absolutely no time for the American people to even get up to speed on the debate. So, yes, they're there's been so much focus on the House Speaker race and the presidential campaign and everything else. Nobody's really paying attention in great detail what Obama and Boehner were doing in the back room, and it's unfortunate that this is the process that has been adopted. Now, of course, Paul Ryan has said he's going to change that. I think we need to keep a close watch, and obviously the voters need to hold him accountable. But yeah, there's not much we can do, unfortunately, to stop the bill that's moving through. It's already moved through the House, and it's moving through the Senate today.
Yeah, now Senator Rand Paul has stood up and said that he'll filibuster this. Filibuster is a delay tactic, but how does he plan to be effective in stopping it from passing the Senate?
Well, you're absolutely right. That's all that it is a delay tactic, and I think even Rand Paul has acknowledged that there aren't the votes to stop it. And I'll tell you, the reason there aren't the votes is because you have pretty much every single Democrat. So in the House, there was every Democrat but one, and in the Senate, there was probably going to be every Democrat, and that there's 46 votes right there. You have a lot of Republicans who, establishment Republicans, who will go along with what the majority leader wants them to do. So you have to count them. You have the defense hawks, the people who want more military spending, and they got that with this deal. So that's the Lindsey Grahams and John McCain. They're going to support it. So what does that leave you with? It leaves you with people like Rand Paul and Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, James Langford, maybe Tom Cotton. Not a lot there. I mean, there will probably be in the double digits, but it's certainly not going to be enough to stop it. So Rand Paul will try to delay it and call more attention to it. I think that's more of serving an educational purpose, so the American people can at least be seeing what's happening in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I guess filibusters do tend to get some attention, and so if the average voter becomes aware of this, maybe there is that possibility that there'll be a telephone and email campaign that'll put some pressure on some legislators, senators in this case. But again, I'm not sure how effective that'll be. And, I want to talk a little bit about the strategy of the mainstream. I mean, obviously, the alternative to coming up with some kind of a budget deal is government shutdown. Am I right?
Well, in this case, so we're not actually... The government shutdown deadline is December 11th. So that's when...
So we're not up against it yet.
And by shutdown, we should remind people that what we're really talking about is, something like 37% of a lot of the government continues to function even when there isn't a penny.
Shutdown is just non-essential services. Essential services continue, right?
So we were looking at essentially two deadlines. November 3rd, which is coming up next week, was the deadline that the Treasury Secretary in the Obama administration said that they had to increase the debt limit by. So otherwise, he said the United States is going to default, which is not true. It's irresponsible on the part of the administration to even suggest that. The government has measures that they can take even if the debt limit wasn't raised by November 3rd. But the media, the politicians, they buy into this and these artificial deadlines that are sometimes set, and that's exactly what we have here. So there's a lot of pressure to get it done by November 3rd. Well, that's what we're talking about with this budget deal. We will have another debate in December, on the spending plan itself, and that's when they'll be figuring out exactly, okay, will they try to fund the government for the rest of the fiscal year? Will they do another short-term extension? The problem is that they've now increased the cap, the spending cap, so now the government can spend basically at the levels that Obama wanted the government to spend at. They've increased the debt limit, so now we're going to go from $18.1 trillion to $19.6 trillion. We're going to be approaching $20 trillion by the time all is said and done. And the conservatives are left, with their hands up like, this is an opportunity, a golden opportunity. We have a majority in the Senate, a majority in the House of Representatives. Why are we not negotiating spending cuts?
This is what I want to get to. I think the establishment is of the opinion, and I want to debunk this a little bit with you in the minute and a half we have before the break. So I'll quickly get it out there. I think they're of the opinion that the last shutdown did not favor Republicans because there's this whole the Republican-led Congress is dysfunctional, rhetoric that's going on, obviously spun by the liberal media. And the difficulty I think we're having is the establishment doesn't acknowledge the fact that after that government shutdown and all of this terrible rhetoric against Republicans, we took the Senate, people. I don't know. I mean, was it really all that damaging? And I think we probably have to debunk that a little bit. We have, maybe 30 seconds. Do you want to add anything to what I said?
Well, this is exactly the point that the conservatives are making, that these politicians, including the establishment Republicans, ran on certain promises of the changes they'd make in Washington. And as we've just seen in this particular debate, they are not living up to those promises. And how do the American people feel about it? Well, you look at the polls and you understand why Congress has such a low approval rating.
There you go. And now I've got to take us to break. It'll only be 2 minutes. I hope that you will hold on.
Yes.
Okay, listeners, we are coming to you live from the Conservative Commandos Radio Network studios, WNJC 1360, our flagship station in Philadelphia, and around the world on the Internet with CPR Worldwide Media, Leading Edge Radio Network, TalkStream Live, The Pundit Press, SHR Media, K98 Talk, iHeartRadio, More Radio, and AM/FM 24/7. They are all.com. Rick Trader and Anna Little will be right back with you, speaking with Robert Bluey after the break.
They say I'm crazy. I really don't care. That's my prerogative. They say I'm nasty, but I...
The Conservative Commandos radio show is expanding to become the Conservative Commandos Radio Network. We are establishing a front line of conservative radio broadcasters and ironclad patriots to declare war against the madness of liberalism and the Obama administration. Are you tired of the disregard for our Constitution? Do you still have faith in the American dream? Are you looking for sensible, smart radio? If so, listen to the Conservative Commandos Radio Network every weekday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on WNJC Radio, 1360 on your AM dial, or around the world on the Internet at WNJCradio.com. Check out our website, ccrsnetwork.com, for rebroadcasts and network updates. We are the Conservative Commandos Radio Network, where now even more newsmakers go to be heard.
Hi, this is Bob Vide, owner of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. I've had the opportunity to travel in many foreign countries, and I've seen what happens to people when they lose their freedom. I wrote this poem. Give us freedom was the cry as they marched throughout the night. At Concord Bridge in Trenton, for freedom they would fight. To build a nation that would last with peace and liberty, it is a job that's never done if we are to be free. They wrote a declaration to announce that we are free, then a constitution for all the world to see. But this is ink on paper. We must make it last. It must always be defended, and that is quite a task. Today the battle rages for freedom in our land. To save our Constitution, we all must take a stand. We must stand up for freedom in our actions every day, and you can stand up with us. Join the NRA. This is Bob Viden of Bob's Little Sports Shop in Glassboro, New Jersey. You may call us at area code 856-881-7575 or visit us online at bobslittlesportshop.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
You can call the Conservative Commandos radio show at 856-227-1360. Your opinion counts at 856-227-1360.
This is Congressman Alan West, and you're listening to the Conservative Commando Radio Show.